think differently. So we reached out again to some of the communities and said, okay, how do we get more young Muslim boys and girls into our age groups and starting to play cricket? And the message I got back loud and clear was, well, cricket isn't a sport for us. If you don't go to the right school or the right cricket club, you'll never get onto the Warwickshire pathway. So I said, well, how do we change that? People said, there are some brilliant people playing tape ball cricket in the streets, but you'll never reach those. So again, how do I reach them? So somebody came up with a brilliant idea to change our trial system. So we put all of our trials now through WhatsApp. So any young kid, 11 or 12 years old, as long as they've got access to a mobile phone, and they've got someone that can record them, either batting or bowling, and they send that WhatsApp message now to our coaches, it gets watched 3 times by 3 different coaches, and if we spot talent, we invite them in. We've done the videos to teach people how to do it in Punjab and Urdu as well, to try and make it more welcoming. And as a consequence of this now, we're getting different kinds of people coming through our academy. And 40 to 60% now of the youngsters from our under 11s to our under 18s are from predominantly South Asian communities now. That's a massive change for us. My big challenge now is how do I get those people in to be professional cricketers? Because what I can't do is have 40 to 60% of the 11 to 18-year-olds coming through our academy as promising talent, and then having no representation on the field playing for the Bears or for the Birmingham Phoenix, and ultimately for England. Now that's a 5 to 10 year journey. We won't do it overnight. And we've got some really talented youngsters, Taz Ali, Hamza Sheikh, who are now playing for us. So we try to change the way that we bring young Muslims from the city and from the region into cricket. We tried to change the way that we think about Edgbaston. When I joined, people said it's a sports stadium, it's a spaceship, it lands 7 times a year, causes havoc on the roads, and then disappears again. So we said, let's stop thinking about ourselves as a sports stadium. We're a 30, 40 acre site, smack bang in the middle of a big city. How can we use that differently? And we knocked the walls down here. When I first joined, there were 6-foot brick walls up outside. You couldn't get into the place. We've knocked it down and made it open. And again, through people like Cameron, we've done things like Eid prayer here, Iftars, the Ramadan League. We've worked a lot to do a lot of things just to try and bring people in that wouldn't normally come into Edgbaston. And I think that's been a massive change for us. And on the day for the cricket, we've changed massively. And I always remember I was brought down to earth with a massive bump very quickly when I joined. I was talking to someone and they said, well, we're inclusive, we've got a prayer room. We go, yeah, you've got a prayer room, but how many people come to watch cricket that are Muslim? I said, well, on an average Bears game, there's 8,000 or 9,000 here, we might have 1,000 people. Okay, great. How big's your prayer room? Well, on a good day, if you're all breathed in, you might get 12 people in there. So yeah, we ticked a box. We had a prayer room. We could put a photograph in our brochure, but it was like a chocolate teapot. It was no good. So we've changed that now. We've changed the way that we do our hospitality. We used to arrive in the ground, there'd be a bottle of red wine, a bottle of white wine on every table. We don't put alcohol on tables anymore. We have no alcohol solutions in every room now. We've changed the food and drink offerings that we have. And this isn't designed to make anyone feel alienated. It's designed to make everybody feel welcome. If you want a glass of wine, have a glass of wine. If you don't, it shouldn't be forced upon you. And I think by changing the way that Edgbaston feels, we've now changed the way that people come to the ground as well. And then finally, we took a conscious decision. I think most sports clubs sit waiting for people to approach them. And if you're lucky enough to know the right person to get into the club, you might have a 10% chance of making something happen. Well, we flipped it on its head and said, why don't we employ a community director, Fidelis, who is awesome. She's a bundle of energy. I can't control her, but she's awesome. And her job is to go out and talk to people and build the relationships. And through that now, we're doing things with people like the Bahu Trust, the local mosque, where we're trying to help make sure kids don't get involved in county lines drugs, which are a big issue in some of the local communities. We have cricket of an evening where the police come along and just get kids used to dealing with the police, how to treat them, what to expect when they're stopped by the police, ideally how not to be stopped by the police. And we're doing a lot now in social mobility, because if you just look over there, some of those deprived areas in Europe, Borsal Heath, etc., what can we do to drive social mobility in those areas? So we play the real living wage now, and we try to employ from a 1 mile radius. So on a major match day, we can have up to 2,000 people working here. Ideally, as many of those as possible should be from that 1 mile radius, from the communities that we're here to serve. But then what we've just done is we've invested £1.5 million with a company called Compass, who are one of the world's largest hospitality businesses, to try and train and educate the next generation of supervisors and managers. So ideally, if we can recruit from the local area, identify young Muslims who've got talent and aspiration, and then give them the training, the development, and the confidence to go and do supervisory managerial jobs in leisure and hospitality, not just here, but at Aston Villa or the NEC or in the city centre at some of the Michelin star restaurants that we've got here. That should be our aspiration, giving people that leg up to get them onto a ladder. So none of that particularly costs a lot of money. It's about mindset. So I would challenge anyone from across the country that deals with sports organisations, if you hear them say, we haven't got the money, give them the answer they deserve. Tell them you've got their thinking wrong. It's about mindset. It's not about money. So I think the only way that we can change things properly and use the power of sport properly is if we think differently on a day-to-day basis and make those small changes to try and make everybody feel safe and welcome through sport. So have a good day today, and thank you very much.